I'm so excited to share my 4 key takeaways from my webinar session with Sukhi Dylan Alberga of Bridging Legal Solutions, as well as the founder of Counsel Your Docs today. We talked about shaping the future of shareholder agreements and how she's doing that with Counsel Your Docs, which is an educational and legal tech platform that allows people to generate their own shareholder agreements in Ontario. So this is really inspiring, and my conversation with her really drew out a couple of takeaways that I wanted to share with you. The first one is to start small. The second one is to launch big. The third one is to use bundles. And the fourth is to always be learning. So let's dive into each one of those in turn. From our conversation, as I mentioned, the first key takeaway is to start small. The reason I say this is that she didn't try to automate every aspect of law. She just started with what is a very impactful and important document that we can automate for people in this space. So what she did is she started with a shareholder agreement. So this one in particular is really important because it makes it to where this key document can be automated very easily for a very flat price for people who need this type of document. She also did something interesting where she started with this idea of making it simply for clients at first, but then got the advice and really found that the path would be better if she actually also offered the solution to attorneys and accountants and so on. So she really got to think a lot about her target audience as well as what is the value proposition and why would she start with this particular document. So starting small is really important because it allows you to create that initial product that you can then launch into the market with a very specific marketing strategy for who you're going to be selling this to, why you're selling it to them, and why is it important in their particular overall sales cycle and journey with you. So what we want to do when we're thinking about where would we start building is to think, what is the most impactful document that I can or process that I can automate first? So I really love this key takeaway from her as well. The second is to launch big. So they launched in January, and even before then, we were doing a webinar together about, her as a legal tech entrepreneur and, being a lawyer and going into the space of creating legal tech products and how she was able to kind of leverage the press and the visibility that she got from doing that webinar with us to kind of having that momentum build up and have the conversation going in the space so that people could start hearing about her before she even launched. And then following up on that webinar that we did together last time to the one that we did together today to really announce and really focus on the live launch of her product. So I think that's kind of 2 key takeaways already so far is start small and launch big. The third one is to use bundles. So in Gavel, you have the option to create individual workflows like this, or you can create bundles. And a bundle can be embedded into your website and look like this. And in hers, it actually looks like this. So you can show what's included and where the payment is required and what type of currency it is and how much it costs. And then someone can say buy now and they'll get straight over to a Stripe paywall where they can pay for the document and then they can go directly into generating the document based on their answers and inputs. So this is a really important process within Gavel because it allows you to collect payments and then to automatically have that person start completing the documents that you want them to complete. So in my case here, if I say start bundle and I'm signed into my account, I can say start session. And in this case, mine are free here. And I can go directly into my first workflow. Now, if I'm somebody who's already taken this workflow before and the variables that are underlying each of these are the same as one I took in the past, like I've already filled out what my first name, last name, and middle name are, then it's not going to ask me those again. It's going to pre-fill that information out for me. So all I need to do is say continue, review, make sure that it's all correct for the type of document that I'm generating. And then I can go return to bundle overview and immediately go into the second workflow. So bundles are really powerful, not only from the fact that you have this paywall in the beginning, but also that your clients, because they need to sign in and have their client portal, what they're able to do is actually to benefit from data persistence by having all of those answers that they previously have already entered pre-populate in future workflow sessions. So using bundles is the third key takeaway. The fourth key takeaway is to always be learning. So, one of the biggest things here is that Sukhi was part of the Law Society of Ontario's Access to Innovation Sandbox, and she was their first applicant and their first lawyer applicant. And they were expecting to see more people who were in tech companies and developers. And so it was really interesting to see that she is always seeking more knowledge and to learn. And I think that she picked up a lot from being in that sandbox and she got a lot of advice that she wouldn't have otherwise been able to get access to because it was really driven for people who are trying to create legal tech products. So the fact that she was able to be in the room with the people who are, able to advise her on this journey really empowered her with a lot of knowledge and advice and counsel in order to kind of go throughout her journey now. So I'm so excited for Sukhi and her journey through Counsel Your Docs. And just to summarize, we talked about 4 key takeaways from my conversation with her from today, where we talked about shaping the future of shareholder agreements, using Gavel for Counsel Your Docs. And the 4 key takeaways are to start small with a very focused and defined product that you're offering for a very specific target market. The second key takeaway is to launch big. Do webinars, do partnerships, do a lot of content to let people know that you are launching and what the value proposition is, answer people's questions before they even need to ask, finding your market, where do they live, where do they hang out, so that you can really target that particular audience and really show them how this is going to benefit them. The third one is to use bundles within Gavel. And this is for a couple of reasons. The first is that you're able to have an immediate paywall. You can actually determine where you want that to go. So, for example, you can say, I want this to be before the start of the first workflow. The next thing you could say is, I want it to be before document generation of the first workflow or the second workflow or whatever else. The second is that you're able to put multiple workflows into a single bundle or for a single price, which could have multiple payment steps. So you have a lot of control over that. And the third one is that you're able to have your clients and your customers benefit from data persistence, meaning that the data that's entered, so long as the variables that are underlying each of these different workflows are the same. So if contact first name is always contact first name and contact last name is always contact last name, then that data will persist across all of the workflows. The 4th key takeaway is to always be learning. So Sukhi is obviously somebody who is always soaking up new material and trying to innovate and learn, and is humble enough to admit that she doesn't know everything and she needs to seek out education everywhere she can find it. And so she joined the sandbox and was able to get a lot of information about how she needs to shape her business, how she needs to find her customers, how she needs to shape her product before she offers it to the market. So now I'm really excited to say that she has been able to offer this to the market. So if you are someone who would benefit from generating and automating shareholder agreements, do check out counselyourdocs.com. So I hope that was useful and I'll see you on the next video.